drinking on stream?
Nope.
No? Good to know.
Okay, we are live on Twitch. I have turned off and unplugged my fancy new camera because that seems to be the big issue.
You didn't sound bad at all when I listened to the last week's podcast.
In the beginning, oh yes, I did.
I mean, you didn't sound as good as normal, but you didn't sound bad.
Well,
you're being so nice.
Yes. We're talking love languages.
I listened to Felicia
Yes.
Day's podcast, and you sound better. You sounded better than Felicia Day does.
Straight out the bottle. Damn, Daddy.
I'm not in a good mood tonight. I will behave once we start recording, but I'm not in a good mood right now.
Okay, favorite love language from a video game romance. All right, let's do this then. Oh, right, record the damn podcast. We are recording there. The Google Meets is recording. I have an idea of what I'm going to say, but who knows what is going to come out of my mouth. Okay. We ready?
Yes, sorry. I was trying to put my do not disturb on. I was messaging Cass in chat.
All right. Okay, we're good. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Ship, the podcast where we analyze, rate, and review all that the world of video game romances has to offer. I'm Jennasis, the girl who has been getting her Viking on lately. Motherfucker.
What's happening?
It had been fine. You know, it had been fine. I've been running my internet for like an hour and a half, and it's been fine. We will just turn my camera off, and you guys will have to deal with not seeing my face tonight. And I'm Jennasis. Huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. And I'm Jennasis, the girl who has been getting her Viking on lately. I started playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Ooh, I need to play that again. I never finished it. Whoopsies. I have a lot. I'm Virvada, the girl who's in year 2, spring day 20, I think, of Stardew Valley. My first playthrough ever. Having a good time, romancing Sebastian like the stereotype I am. Super great.
We will have to add Stardew Valley to the list because it definitely is. So many romance options, and people have opinions. Oh my gosh.
My love, it is on the schedule already. Oh. We're doing it next year.
Shows how much I pay attention to the schedule. I just show up and do what V tells me to, like the good little sub I am. But before I tangent too far on that one, let's introduce the rest of the show for tonight, because tonight, of course, is the end of the month, which means that it is Patreon time. Bat Knight, you are up first. Say hi.
Hello there.
Magister Davida,
Hello, everyone.
and Apollo.
Hello.
Yay! Everybody's here. And are we ready to talk love languages?
Yeah, I wanted to just say, just in case, for the listener or for the patrons, if you have not recently looked into love languages, I think they're pretty zeitgeisty by now, but just in case, there's 5 commonly accepted ones. So tonight's topic is like, what is your preferred love language in a video game romance? You can say what yours is to your partner if you could choose, but I was more thinking also what you like to see in an NPC that you're romancing. Like, how do they display their love for you in a way that you like? So the 5 common accepted love languages are acts of service, quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, and receiving gifts, which obviously that's a very common love language as a player, but we'll get to that, I guess. So yeah, those are the 5.
Do we want to break this out and like each person talks about their favorite, or do we want to talk about pros and cons, or maybe a game that we've seen each of these love languages?
Maybe favorite first and then mid-break and then that.
Okay. Sounds good. Bat Knight, you are up first. What's your love language?
Well, up until she listed them out, I knew what I was going to say. I don't know what this counts as, but I've always had a soft spot, be it movies, games, whatever, for what I call cliche with one of the examples I'm going to use, but I call it the assemble scene. That moment when a character thinks they're all alone, and then usually, it'll be at least one or two, will show up to back them up, or, the bigger the group, the more it gets me stoked. Which, when you're discussing romance, I think has a completely different context. But my examples were actually most of them were movie references. The big assemble scene in both Avengers and Endgame, the Mass Effect Citadel scene where they're all standing on that one rafter or whatever, and they're all shooting down. Their whole party is sitting there, grouped up, shooting down hellfire on them. Or I think it accounts for the same thing. That scene I talked about before in Uncharted, where Elena shows up with the Jeep after Nate told her to go, get out of here. And then all of a sudden she shows up with the Jeep to help him, being there for the other person. I always look at that as loyalty, and that always means the world to me.
I think that qualifies as an act of service.
All 3 of them?
Well, yeah, because you're performing something. Like an act of service could be as simple as that your partner likes waking up to coffee, so you make coffee every morning, or showing up with a Jeep when your partner's needing a getaway car, maybe providing covering fire from the rafters so that your partner can escape unscathed or lightly scathed. I don't know. And
Okay.
video games are wild, so they're not going to fit perfectly in these 5 categories, maybe, but that sounds like acts of service to me.
Hey, you know what? If you found a way for my word spewage to mean something, then I'll roll with it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree that that's acts of service, because you are providing something that your partner needs, and you're doing it without them asking you to do it. And that's kind of the key factor in that, is that you go, and it doesn't even necessarily mean to go out of your way to do something, but like, I am horrible about taking out the trash on trash night. I'm absolutely horrible about remembering to do it. And so Jason will have to remind me to do it. Hey, it's trash night. Can you take out the trash? On those nights that I do remember to do it without having to be reminded, I know that that makes him very happy, because he is that taskmaster. He's the one who is always reminding me to do the things. And so when I can do it without being told or reminded, that is my way of showing him the love that he wants.
I would like to say after over a decade, my wife has started to, she keeps referring to it as, well, we'll just say bat night time. I will get things done on bat night time. Like it will always get done, but she is the taskmaster that Jen was just talking about with her husband. I am not that person. I will get to it. I've heard husbands make the whole thing of, you don't have to remind me every 3 weeks. I will get to it. I'm not that bad, but dishes need to be done. I might wait until the next morning rather than jump on them immediately or something like that. I think she's getting used to that, but I could be wrong.
Oh, I don't do the time thing. My girlfriend's family says they use their name and then time as a reason for being late. I'm like, no, look, if you say we're going to eat dinner at 5 and it's ready at 5:10, I can live with that. But if you're going to start cooking at 5, I'm going home.
Yeah. Don't fuck with my food. That's a big one. If you say that dinner starts at 5, that means that we start eating at 5, not that we start cooking at 5. Now, if you tell me come over and we're all going to cook together starting at 5, then I am all down for that. But give me the expectations of when I'm going to get my food.
I'm all about being on time. I have literal nightmares where my nightmare is that I wake up and it's 7 o'clock and I have to be at school at 7:40, and getting up at 7, I'd still make it there with 10 minutes to spare. But that is a literal nightmare to me, is being late.
All right, before we start tangenting on fears, Magister DeVita, you want to talk about your love languages in video games?
Sure. My favorite love language in video games is quality time. I'm a big fan of having those quiet moments or those just moments of that one-on-one time with each other in the video games. Starting all the way back when it was a lot more difficult with older video games, because a lot of it was more like talking type of romance. But I remember there was in Knights of the Old Republic 2, the handmaiden Brianna. There was moments where she would teach you how to do her Ichani fighting style, and through that one-on-one time with her, you would slowly like get to know her, as well as start to have that bit of quality time to build that romance between the two of you. And then the more later renditions of games, like Iron Bull, even though it gets a little comedic at that one particular scene, but having that moment where it's just like it's just you and me. We're just here right now. This is that time. Or having a little bit of watching the stars in the galaxy was Gale, or having a cup of wine with Shadow Hearts, or just any other types of games. So just where you have those moments of it's just one-on-one with your potential love interest and you're having a good time.
Fully agree. Oh my gosh. And I think that quality time really is one of the main ones that we see in video games, because that's literally like, in order to initiate romance dialogue, it's generally on a one-to-one basis. And so therefore that is your quality time with them. And of course, we want more of it. I would like to have those type of interactions all the freaking time. A la, well, I mean, BG3 does it with the, let's talk about our relationship. Dragon Age Origins did it where, checking in all the time and being able to interact with them. And I really want more of that in the future, where I can just walk up to the person that I'm in a romance with and just have, even if it's the same dialogue over and over again, let me just reinforce this love. Maybe have like 3 or 4 different outcomes to the conversation, so that way it's a little bit more varied. But quality time for sure is a big one. Love it.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely the one that you kind of burn through the quickest when it comes to like the scenes, because it's like you have these big quality moment scenes, and then you kind of like eventually get to the point where, like you said, it's, hey, I really like you, or how am I doing right now? Oh, you're awesome. And it's just like, okay, I get it, but where's that playing checkers with each other or sharing a glass of wine.
Mm-hmm. V, you got thoughts on quality time?
I was just thinking, I guess before we get any further, I want to make a statement that that love languages are not like the end all be all thing. We'll get more into that after the mid break. We're just talking about our favorites right now. I feel like all 5 of them are necessary for an ultimate happy relationship. But, we're just talking about which ones we personally like the best right now. And we'll get more into like the cerebral shit after the mid break. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling with the wine. But like I love quality time. Like I put in the comments or like in our chat that like one of my favorite quality time scenes, which is technically also a friendship scene, but it does have added stuff if you're romancing him, where you're shooting the bottles with Garrus at the top of the Citadel. I just love that one so much. It just, you're doing something both of you enjoy, which happens to be shooting shit and marksmanship and all that. And it's cute. Shared hobbies, spending good time just with each other. No cell phones, like you're actually engaging. It's good. It's quality time.
Agreed. Apollo.
So I think mine are going to fall under acts of service because I like the things that show love that could be platonic, that they don't even have, it doesn't even have to be love that's going to end in a sexual type relationship. And I'll give 3 examples. Like for one, I'm just going to go back to Last of Us 2. I think the greatest act of service, I think that's what you'd call it in that game, is when Joel takes Ellie to a science museum on her birthday because he knows she loves dinosaurs and her dream is to be an astronaut. So she gets to play in the dinosaurs. And then he's found this tape where she can sit in an actual spaceship and put on headphones and pretend like she's blasting off into space. Like that's a deep, deep love to do that for somebody. It's in Mass Effect 3 where Tali gives you her picture on your nightstand, something that's only she could give you, and that's something that's deeply personal that she's just not going to do for anybody else. And it's the Liara head lean in Mass Effect 3, where she's going to do that whether you're in a romantic relationship or just friends. But that level of love and caring that the two have for each other to do that, that's what I'm into.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a different form of act of service. And that does kind of fall into physical touch as well. Because, well, the Tally giving you the picture, but the Liara head lean, that one is special, I think, on a physical touch level.
Yeah, I'm not going to say no to an act of service. All of those things that you listed, like with the picture and obviously I know Joel and Ellie are not a romantic relationship, it's a father-daughter relationship, but there's love there. These love languages are not just for romantic love. And both of those highlight for me something that I love about love when you actually care truly about someone is that you are the special person, not just anyone could see Tally's face or get a picture of her like that. Not just anyone would know Ellie wants to be an astronaut. So like doing those things and bringing that to light of like, you're a special person. And I like to feel special. So I love those too.
But I think this is also what I'm into in real life, though, because my girlfriend and I just had the conversation about this the other day, and like things that I would do for her that I wouldn't do for anybody else. Like if you are my roommate and you have to work all weekend, I'm not doing your laundry, but I'll do my girlfriend's laundry when I know she's gonna, is gonna have a long day. I'll cook, I'll do things for her that I just would not do for anybody else.
Yeah, there are definitely things I will do for my partner that I don't do for other people. I going beyond the physical touch stuff, guys. I heard the eye rolls over your car speakers. Thank you very much. But I buy him little treats and little things and, gifts that like, oh, I saw this and it made me think of you. Or I had to stop by the corner store to get something for me. I bought you a chocolate bar because I know that you love chocolate. So I do little things like that all the time.
Yeah, that's receiving gifts. Well, in your case, you're giving them, but he's receiving the gifts. And like those are the things. It's like you hear that love language, like, oh, I love receiving gifts. It's like, oh, you're such a douche. You just want someone to buy you stuff all the time. It's like, no, it's not like big things. It doesn't even have to be a purchase. It could be a Post-it note picture you draw and put into your kid's lunchbox every day.
Mhm.
That's a gift. It's so cute. Just do that, that makes them feel special too. All of these are designed to make you feel special because you are special to that person.
What makes you feel special, V? What's your love
Oh,
language in video games?
well, I like all of them, but video games specifically, I think I have to fall onto the words of affirmation because I think this is just maybe showing my age where a lot of video game romances in the early days were only words of affirmation. Like you didn't have sex scenes or anything else. Maybe you gave a gift to them, but like for them to show their love to you, it would always be through dialogue. But I love it, like when I get the scene of Solus in Skyhold kissing me. Obviously, I love the kisses. I love the butt grabbies. But what I love the most is when he walks away and says, Arlath Mavanon, which he doesn't say that to anybody else ever. And I love it. Oh, and that means I love you, my heart. And it's just so good. Or like when Astarion tells me that I am not just anyone, I'm the first person he's ever cared about. Oh, love that. I love a pet name. Like, speak nerdy to me. That's what I want. Is it any surprise that I like the words?
I am with you 100% on the pet name. That one the pet name for me will always do it, even if it's just a friendship pet name. Okay, so a lot of people call you Virvada or V. Like our entire audience knows that. But I think I'm the only one that calls you Virvada Jean Marie. Like that's my name for
Yes.
you.
Yes. I love it. And you know how special it made me when I saw a piece of mail with Virvada Jean Marie on the sendee, the address that it was being delivered to, like that was the name on it. And I knew instantly it was you that sent it to me, and it made me feel special. I love it.
Aw. I do have to say, when it comes to me, with my friends, I love hugs and things like that. Physical touch is huge and very, very important to me. I've talked so much about that on this show. And with my husband, obviously, physical affection and going further than just a hug is very important to me. But when it comes to like friendships or really close relationships, things like that, I am the gift giver. I love buying little things. Like half of my desk right now are little things that I've gotten for people that I may or may not actually ever end up getting them. I have 3 things that I've bought for Toasty. I've never met Toasty in real life, and I don't know if we're ever going to ever see each other in real life, but if we do, I've got 3 things right there. I have a gift for Let's Not I never sent out. I've got a gift for Ninja that I've never sent out. I love buying gifts and giving them to people, but I need to see your face when you get them, or at least know that you're getting them at that moment. Anyways, sorry. In video games, though, pet names are great. Words of affirmation are great. Your declaration of love from the top of the rooftop is great. That moment with Iron Bull that Magister talked about, where it's just you and me and the Inquisition is nowhere in the room. Love that. But I need that physical affection. I'm sorry. I am a visual person when it comes to my video games. I need to see it. I need to see the kisses. I need to see the ass grabs. I need to see all of the things that make me feel I'm in this relationship with you. And it may even be like the voyeuristic or the exhibitionist part of it where I'm like, oh my God, those are my boobs on the screen I'm looking at. There's that part of it too, where it's just like, if I am role playing into this character and then I'm receiving this physical affection from the other person on screen with me, that's what I love about it. Sorry, I kind of tangented and ranted on that one. Anybody have comments? V's pouring more wine so she can't talk.
I spilled my wine.
Oh
Only a little bit. It's fine.
I'm not a pet name person. I don't have a problem with people having them. I can't do it. I feel too weird. I'm not opposed to them. It just feels so weird to me.
My weird quirk about pet names is I don't like using the same one more than once. There's the generic ones, babe, sweetheart, that kind of thing that, whatever. But if I have a specific nickname that I've called, say, for example, an ex, then I won't then call my wife that same nickname. I'll find something else to call her.
yeah.
I knew a guy who would use the same nickname every single time. And I'm like, dude, that's not cool. That's like, hey, baby certain one-on-one times. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. The nicknames are important to me. And so I get where they were coming from with that, but I don't know. That's my thing. I don't like to use more than once.
That's not weird. Actually, I wanted to say I wanted to say this after the mid break, but like when these things can become toxic, kind of, for lack of a better word, because I know toxic is so overused now. But if you say you like to receive love the most through words of affirmation, and you end up in a relationship with a chronic liar, that's bad. Like that's a bad match, So, and then you got this person maybe using the same nickname for all their partners because they can't keep track of them or something. Like, they just got to remember baby, but they don't have to remember individual names. I also personally don't really like baby as a nickname because baby is a baby. Like, I don't know. I don't want to call, unless you're like kinking it up. I feel like in just an average day, sort of like we're at the farmer's market and someone's like, hey, baby. And I'm like, are you talking to your toddler? Or are you talking to the person you have sex with? I don't know. But it just feels a little iffy to me. But I digress. I want to get more into that, like pros and cons, like maybe how we feel about others or something after the mid break, because that sounds like a good after mid break topic.
I definitely prefer babe over baby. Because babe is like hot chick.
Babe feels markedly different to me, so I think babe is fine. I would never call a child babe, but baby feels weird.
Yeah. I would never call a kid babe, but I'd call a pig babe. And on that note, I think we will go into our mid-break. Mid-break dance with the patrons. Why is everything always pee? Are we prom dancing still? No. I think this is just freestyle break dance. Woo! Me not on camera, but I swear I did dance. Well, we don't have any fun facts. Oh, wait, we do have a fun fact to go over because I think we need to reiterate what we talked about last week about the format of the show changing up a little bit. We are switching to 2 scripted episodes a month and 2 unscripted episodes a month. The first week of the month will be a standard Two Girls, One Ship podcast where we analyze, rate, and review all that the world of video game romances has to offer about a specific in-game character using in-game dialogue. Blah, 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 blah. You know the spiel. Week 2 will be me going off the wall because I get to. And it just so happens that for the month of June, where we are trying out this new format, the second week of June, that Friday, is my birthday. So I'm going to have plans for that night. It's also the night of the Summer Games Fest. And if there is newsworthy news, we are going to be talking about it that night. I haven't thought of what else I'm going to be doing, but I will be streaming. I may have guests. I may not. I may just sit here and ramble. We'll figure it out. Week 3, we'll go back to our regular scheduled Two Girls scripted episode. And then week 4 will be our Patreon chats, just like here tonight. I don't have any new reviews to read out. I don't have any new patrons to shout out.
Wait,
All of you
I
are
have one
welcome.
fact, and it's not really a fact. It's just me. My one fact is if you are a woman who calls your male partner puddin', I also have an issue with that. Only because I know that you're doing a Joker Harley Quinn thing, and I don't like that.
Okay, yeah, no. I don't like that one either.
That's only for the pet name talk from earlier.
I also don't like dear. I'm sorry, dear, but whenever you use that terminology, it sounds like I'm about to be in trouble.
Yeah, like a school marm, or you're in an arranged marriage looking wistfully out the window for your dear to return from war. I don't know.
Okay. I think we're good with darling, though. Darling's a good one. All right. I had this open and then I closed it. I didn't mean to. And a huge shout out to our lovely, lovely patrons. Big love, major hearts, all the hugs to Toasty and Apollo, Becky and Daddy Bat Night, Stone Miss Theos and Muffiny Cake, Win, Evie from HR, Lavelany, and Magister Davida. That wine is not doing you good, is it?
No, I'm sorry. What happened to the Columbia Valley in 2022? Washington State. Ew. This is so nasty. I'm sad because I bought 2 bottles of this because I thought I liked it. Anyway, yes, thank you, patrons. Sorry, I was having a moment with my taste buds.
All right. Unless you have anything else to add to the middle of the show, let's get back into it. All right. So, did we decide that we're going to go through the pros and cons of each one, or how do you want to format the second half, Miss V?
Yeah, we could, or we could talk about our least favorite, which will kind of become pros and cons because we've already talked about our favorite and why we liked it. I mean, like I said earlier, they're all present usually in relationships, romantic or otherwise, in some capacity, but I'm sure we all have a least favorite. I know I do anyway.
Why don't you kick us off then? Let's explore this.
Okay, I think my least favorite, surprisingly, is going to be receiving gifts because, like, I like them in contexts where you're supposed to get a gift, like a birthday or Christmas or some holiday, whatever. But like spontaneous gift giving, I then feel this is me and my personal issue. I get it. But like if someone gives me a gift out of the blue, I immediately I don't know if this is Catholic guilt or what. Like, I was raised Catholic, but I'm like, oh my God, I have to give them a gift. I'm so sorry. I don't have anything for you. Like, I feel horrible. Like, I owe them now. And I know that's not at all the intention when people are giving gifts, but it's just how I feel. So, like, it makes me feel imbalanced. And now that I owe them something too, even if it's like the tiniest, stupidest little thing that maybe didn't even cost money. So I guess it's my least favorite, but I do appreciate gifts at the same time. I also really don't like physical touch in a lot of circumstances. Like my husband, like if I'm trying to like deal with my kid and I get like a butt smack randomly, I'm like, what was that, bro? Like, hold on. I'm not in that headspace right now. I'm like mothering, So if you have a poorly timed physical touch, that will not receive well on my end.
Okay. Please don't feel unbalanced because I sent you a sticker.
No, I actually did. I was like, I need to find her something. But then the thing is I gave you the Dorian keychain unprompted ages ago and never felt like you owed me a gift. So I don't know why I'm like this.
Okay. I feel like this should not devolve into therapy.
I got a therapist. I'm seeing them on Tuesday. So maybe I'll be 2024 V's or yeah. Maybe it'll take a year. Maybe 2025 V is like where it's at. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. All right. How to transition from this one? Does anybody else have a strong opinion on one of the love languages that they really do not like to see, either in your real world or in video games? Go for it.
I similar to Virvada, the gift giving, not necessarily in real life, but more so in the video game. It gives me flashbacks to Dragon Age Origins, where it's just like everybody, like, hey, here's a statue for you, and here's some jewelry for you, and here's some nice diamonds for Shale, and it's just like, okay, I feel like all I'm doing is just getting you guys a lot of gifts in order to get affirmation from y'all. So I do think it can be done in a nice way. Like I enjoyed getting the flowers for Shadowheart and Baldur's Gate, but using gifts to gain the system of someone's love in a video game just feels a little cheap. I like it when it has meaning behind it. Another type of love that can get a little tedious in a love language that can get a little tedious in video games is active service sometimes, especially when it's like on the PC side of things, because then it starts to feel like, oh, my love language is fetch quests. Let me go out and get this thing for you and do this active duty for you. And I know some relationships in BioWare games or other games, even sometimes in like Cyberpunk, it started to feel like when you're doing like active service, with, for example, Judy, it's just like I'm doing a lot of service to like help you out and help homegirl. I can't remember what her name is. The one who
Evelyn.
Yes, absolutely. Like, not to say I wasn't going to do that, because I mean I'm trying to be a hero even in Night City, but at the same time, it's just like this is a lot to be asking for somebody. So, active service can start to feel a little too another settlement needs your help type situation. So those two can be, if done right, cool. It's great. We're coming together to storm the keep or do what we need to do. Or I found this really nice thing, and I remember that you told me this before in the past, and I'm bringing this to you. But if it's a fetch quest and gaming the system with love for items, it's a little much.
I feel that big time. Origins, I had everybody maxed out at their maximum affection level. And then, of course, the person that I chose to romance through dialogue selection on top of that. And to game this system like that, where it's just like, okay, the route of give gift, get romance scene. I am glad that we have moved away from that in most forms of gaming. And it makes it so much more personalized and better, in my opinion, when it's one gift that has a lot of meaning to it. The first one that came to mind was in Mass Effect 3, when either Caden or Ashley are laid up in the hospital, and you can stop off at the terminal and either buy Ashley a first edition of a book, or Caden gets a bottle of his favorite whiskey, because it's Canadian whiskey. And I was like, that's such a good little touch and something that it's not required, but it adds more to the scene and can rekindle that romance that you had with them. And that form of gift giving, where it's one gift that has a special meaning to it for them, um, is really, really touching.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, like, when you were talking about those, like, and this isn't any shade to Stardew Valley, because this is kind of the format for that game, that type of game, like the farming cozy simulation game. There's really no way else to do it as far as I can think of, but and I think the cutscenes in Stardew Valley are really good. That's something new, because I grew up playing Harvest Moon, and where it was literally just gift giving, and you had like no connection to your spouse, and they just moved onto your farm, and you had a kid randomly, and like that was it. Stardew Valley definitely expands on it, but it's still a little transactional feeling when you're checking your socialization chart and you're like, oh, I still have to give my second gift of the week to Sebastian. Let me go catch a fish, make a sashimi, give it to him because I know he loves it. And I just earned like 80 friendship points or whatever. And then, oh, I've given him a bouquet. So now we're dating. So now it's love points, I guess. I don't like, it just feels really not special. So it's like I love the characters in Stardew Valley, but I'll never feel for them the way I feel about these RPGs that have expanded on different ways of showing affection. And it's not just like give gift, get boyfriend or spouse or partner or whatever, you know. So yeah, that's a little bit of a downside to me for Stardew Valley. Is that is exactly how it works? Is you just give gifts, get friendship, or get love. That's it. And they don't give you anything either. So feels a little sad.
Right? When was the last time? Well, I guess Shepard does receive some gifts. Liara gives them the dog tags. Ashley or Caden will put their picture on. You can have their picture on the Normandy. Tally gives you the picture. But other than that, I
Yeah,
can't
but those are
really.
like the one special gift, you know, that makes it feel special. Whereas like in Stardew Valley, it's the same thing. I've given Sebastian 2 sashimis a week for 4 seasons now. Like, it's not special at all, but he loves me.
Wait, Kelly feeds your fish.
Kelly feeds your fish.
That's more service than gift, though. But you're forgetting the biggest gift of all: Anderson giving you the Normandy.
Oh, yes. That's a good one. Alistair
And as far as
gives you
the
the
fish
rose.
goes,
Sorry. Alistair gives you that rose. Bat Knight, did you have something to say?
I was going to be a smart aleck and say, as far as that feeding the fish goes, you can get a robot to do that.
But Kelly feeds them in ME2. You can't get the robot in 2. So. All right.
I mean, in Life is
They all
Strange,
mix
Max
together,
literally
I'm sorry.
gives Chloe life. If Chloe's dead if Max doesn't give her life.
Okay, the
In The
gift
Last
of
of Us, or sorry, in
life.
Life is Strange.
The gift of life is definitely a good gift to receive. Yeah. Oh gosh. Now I need to know, are there any video games where like the main character is pregnant and you give the gift of life? I know that there's a weird comic book series where it's a pregnant girl who's a superhero.
I mean, I know in like Harvest Moon, and I'm assuming Stardew Valley, if you're playing as a female character, allegedly you're the one who gives birth to your child, but like it's not like you ever visibly become pregnant. It's just you're farming and then all of a sudden one day a baby's born. Where'd that come from? Some games, like I think one Harvest Moon game I could think of showed like a stork flying in, so they didn't even touch the pregnancy bit. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there is. There's so many games out there. If anyone knows of one where you play as a pregnant person, let us know.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'm going to have to research this and see if there are any visibly pregnant people in video games that you can play as. All right. New tangent for me to run down. Love it.
Yeah, that's actually something I loved about the Fallout series is that one Vault Dweller, I can't remember her name, who is visibly pregnant in the beginning of the season. She gives birth during the season, but she's still like working on stuff, being badass. I don't want to, if you haven't seen it, I don't want to like spoil what happens or anything, but like, she's still doing stuff and living life. It's cool. The second I saw that, I was like, hell yeah, girl, get it.
Well, and I guess in Fallout 4, Nora she just had her baby. So, yeah, there's that. Okay.
I mean, there's pregnancy adjacent with Jacob in Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 3.
Okay. Valid, but you're not playing as her.
Morgan, you don't play as Morgan either, but in Dragon Age was pregnant at one point.
Yeah. Lulu in
Gina's
Final
pregnant in
Fantasy.
Last of Us 2 if we're going adjacent.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so there definitely is pregnancy in video games, but I don't know if it's ever been the player character. All right, I'll have to figure that one out. Bat Knight or Apollo, do either of you have anything to add on this one? The love languages that you don't like to see?
What are the choices again?
They are words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, acts of service, and quality time.
Nah, I'm okay with all of those.
I was actually going to say it too, just a lot wordier and a little more depressing. I'm not going to turn down any act of or any form of, expressing love. Just not going to.
That's fair. It gets bad when people they'll take these quizzes and they'll learn their love language or their primary one, because once again, they're all present in most people's lives with any kind of relationship. So if you take a quiz and you're like, oh, your love language is acts of service. And then, so you're like, okay, so that means that I love to be loved by someone performing acts of service for me, not necessarily that you like to perform acts of service. So then if you start out expecting that from your partner, but maybe your partner shows love in a different way, that's when it gets tricky, and you shouldn't really do that because love comes in all shapes and sizes. And if someone truly loves you and you truly love them, you will let them love you in their way, and you will love them in your way. And obviously you could try to meet them in the middle, but don't have expectations like that. We're just talking about video games and stuff and what we don't like. I know I said stuff in real life, but I like physical touch in the right contexts. I like gifts in the right context. I also know some of those things are me personally, hence therapy. But that's who I am. I don't know. I'm trying to fix her up. I don't know. Little rundown girl over here.
When do these love languages turn toxic?
Dark Shepherd with James Vega.
There's one.
Yeah. That's
That's
physical.
bad quality time.
Yeah, that's just bad all around. Bad quality time, bad physical touch, bad shepherd, bad.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, if they become toxic, not necessarily I'm sure there are people who can manipulate someone through this if they're actually bad people, but they also just can become bad organically because of miscommunications and stuff. Like I said, that you've got someone who maybe, they like quality time, and then their partner just never wants to spend time, or maybe is just purely unavailable. And then that other person might start to feel very unloved. And like that's just something that can happen. And that's why you got to have open communication, be vulnerable, all that stuff. Maybe couples therapy if you need it, which probably most people do, honestly. So I mean, that's like how to try and get around it, because like I said, most relationships have all 5 of these and their little subcategories that can happen. As far as like toxic, I can't think of a better example than Dark Shepherd and James Vega, other than maybe Dark Shepherd and Jacob Taylor, like trying to force him back. Like Dark Shepherd's just bad all around.
Dark Shepherd is bad. Other forms of toxic. We've talked about Joker and Harley Quinn quite a bit. What were you saying, Apollo?
Well, if we're talking in video games versus if we're talking about in real life, I think it becomes toxic when the way you show love or whatever comes with is when one person starts keeping score and starts deciding, well, I've spent $1,000 buying you presents, and that's how I show love, but you haven't done the same for me. Like, I think it becomes, I think you're in very dangerous ground when you start keeping score.
Well, yeah, because that's transactional, and that's the bad expectations bit. When you're like, I spent $1,000 on gifts this year, now you owe me sex, or you need to clean the house every day and have dinner ready when I get home, and like those kinds of things. No, that's not how it works at all. You shouldn't keep score in love. It's a two-way street that constantly flows. There's no valve. You don't shut it off if it's not coming back the other way or something. Like you can't do that. You either accept that there are some times where you need to pick up slack and hope and maybe, trust that your partner or partners will pick up the slack for you when you need it. That's how a normal, healthy relationship works. An unhealthy one is the one where you're like, well, I did it this time and now you did it this time. So we need to keep switching off, and like having all these rules like that and expectations are just no good. Like, Ascended Astarion expecting you to become his vampire bride, and if you don't, he'll break up with you. Unacceptable.
He doesn't always break up with you. You can be with him and not be a vampire. But
yeah, but he's gonna like pressure you into it eventually. It's probably why he's fine with it at first, because he's like, oh, you'll eventually come around. I'll just peer pressure you and like manipulate you into it at some point.
It's fine. I wanted to be a vampire since day one, so bring it on, Fang Boy. Bring it on. Oh. The wine is kicking in. My V is getting spicy. I love it. All right, Magister or Bat Knight, do you have anything to add? Oh, no, Magister already talked about some of the ones. Bat Knight, you said that you have one, but you don't want to share it because it's too spicy.
Okay, I said that in chat so that I didn't have to say it vocally. But no, I was you made the comment of what's an example of a love language going badly, and the first thing that went through my head I didn't want to say because it's a favorite character of mine and I don't want to talk smack about him because enough people have. But if I absolutely must, Spike and Buffy.
Oh yeah, we know he's a problem. We're aware that Spike has problems and he is a problematic character.
I mean, James Marsters even talks about the problematic scene as being how much he hated it.
Yeah.
And yet I'll still sing it from the rooftops. He didn't have a soul at the time. No conscience, no concept of the wrong he was doing, and he did try to atone once he did.
Yeah.
Well, he did say that it was basically done so that people like Spike too much, so they had to do something to make people dislike him some, so that he had a reason to go get a soul and have his redemption arc.
Well, I guess I liked him as much as you can possibly can without being attracted to the guy.
No, I agree. Spike is toxic. That's why Buffy should be single. Or find somebody completely not a vampire. Okay. All right. I think we'll just make this a short episode. Love languages are great to talk about, but there's really only the 5. And unless we start tangenting too far into real world, I think we can wrap it up here. So, Bat Night, I know that you have a couple of things going on. What's your streaming schedule like?
Yes. The first thing to talk about, as she just alluded to, I'm still streaming. I'm almost up to 140 followers. Streaming 4 days a week, and my little outro is Bat Night's the name, stories of the game. I tend to play games of a more narrative nature. 4 days a week, playing a different game each time. Sunday is Marvel's Midnight Suns. Monday, or Bat Monday. Right now we're playing Batman Arkham City, because I got through Injustice way too quickly. Tuesday is still, I'm playing Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. And dear God, that game is depressing. So I'm thankful for Wednesday night, which is WW Wednesday. I finished up the male My Rise story, so now we're playing the female My Rise story. So I get to play a custom female character. And it's, I aim for 9:30 Eastern time, sometimes a little earlier, sometimes a little later, depending on when I can get my kids to bed. And my outro is, whether you are subscribed, followed, chatting, or just lurking, everyone's a fellow knight of the gaming table, and I wish them all a great day and a night. Oh, and before the next time we see each other, I will have gone to my next convention. The next one I'm going to is Ranger Stop in Atlanta, and I'm doing my first Ranger-related cosplay, and I'm probably going to spend way too much money. But I got the okay from the missus to do so, so.
Sounds awesome. Make sure that you post the pictures up when you are in your full cosplay gear. I saw some pre-work pictures that you've posted so far, so excited to see
it's more of an outfit than I'm not doing the full Ranger suit. I'm just dressing as a outfit that a character wears in the Ranger comics, but it's a very loved story to me personally, and so yeah, really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Magister Davida, what do you got?
Hello there, Master Davida. Thank you for having me here on today, or rather this evening, on Discord as well as the Patreon. Master Davida. Currently still working toward getting a business set up as a consulting for world building or character building, as calling it Magister Works. But for right now, if anyone has any characters that they want to go over, whether it be tabletop role playing, acting, or whatever else, or if you're looking to world build, whether it be for a book or for a campaign, whatever else, I'm your guy. So Magister Davida on Discord and on the Patreon.
All right. And when you get your Fiverr account set up completely, please let us know and we will link you in our show notes and promote you on the socials.
Thank you kindly.
Apollo.
I don't really have anything going on, but this is Jerry. He doesn't usually come in here. He's the big boy.
Oh, that's a belly. Belly scritches for Jerry.
I love Jerry. I love Jerry so much.
Oh.
I love every cat I've ever seen instantly.
All right. And if you like what you're hearing, please be sure to leave a review on iTunes or a comment on Spotify and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You can now find me on the Cyberpunk Lorecast with my co-host Toasty, where we explore the foundations of the past, the state of Night City today, and the news of the future for all things cyberpunk. Make sure that you check out Scyther Audio's newest fan-made production, The Avengers, the audio drama where you can hear me and several of our podcasting friends. And you can reach me in our Two Girls, One Ship channel on the Robots Radio Discord. Come give us a follow on all the social medias and by searching for us on patreon.com as Two Girls, One Ship, as we are now content creators for adults, not adult content creators. Woo! So glad. Yay. But also, no shade to those of you who are adult content creators. We support, we stan, but we just don't do nudity, so we shouldn't have been classified. Our theme music was composed by the ever-talented Pipe Man Studio, and our artwork was designed by the esteemed Let's Not. Links are in the description.
Yeah, I just want to shout out my beautiful wife, Jennasis, because she's the reason that Patreon reclassified us as a non-adult content creator, because she was like, you know what? I have fight in me again. Let's do this. And they actually gave a person to interact with this time, thankfully, instead of like automated stuff. So they agreed with her, and now we are searchable. It's great. Yeah. So also I'm also on the Robots Radio Discord and on our own Two Girls, One Ship Discord server intermittently. I need to be better about everything. Also, catch our live streams on Twitch Fridays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Our podcasts release on Mondays because you need at least one good thing on a Monday.
So thanks for listening, and remember,
Cats are supreme, and beauty is in the eye of the controller. I was staring at my cat when I said that because he's so beautiful. I love him. Yeah, my mare bear.
Mare Bear. Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Okay, so
wait.
now that the recording is done, and I don't even care if this is still on the live, Maya got me in trouble with one of my daughter's doctors. Okay, so this woman I've known like this whole time for like 2 years now. And we've interacted every couple of weeks because of it. And I was at home. It was a Saturday morning, and test results came in, and she wanted to talk to me about it. Whatever. So she calls me up and she's like, "Hey, I need to talk to you about this." And I was like, "All right, I'll leave my bedroom and I'll go sit on the stairs and just talk with her." And Maya comes rushing up and in her typical format starts yelling at me. Maya is very loud, very vocal, and sounds like a human child when she is wanting something. She's very in the background. So I try to shoo her away, and it doesn't work. She comes back with a vengeance and is even louder. The doctor goes, do you need to take care of that? I was like, "No, she's fine." And I was like, "Go away. You're fine." Maya then screams again. This doctor goes, "I'm sorry. I really do not feel comfortable with a baby screaming in the background while we're having this conversation." And I was like, "Rachel, you saw me 6 weeks ago. Was I pregnant?" She's like, "No." And I was like, "It's not a
Oh my God.
newborn, it's my cat."
I love that she just literally thought you were ignoring a human baby.
Right? I was like, "You know everything. And you think I'd be ignoring a screaming child in the background?" It's just like, I did not have a secret baby without telling you. And I'm not ignoring them. Oh, so yeah, that's another Maya story.
Not gonna lie, that sounds like a great setup for an old timey joke. Like, that's not my baby, that's my cat.
So our black cat that likes to drink out of toilets has suddenly decided that she likes to put her head in the toilet and then start whining and meowing so that it echoes, and so the toilet acts like an amplifier for her meowing. So that's great.
Oh. I wonder if I can find the audio clip really quick. Oh, I have it on my phone. I can play it that way. This is one of my favorite audio clips that I actually caught of Maya because she was yelling directly into my microphone during a podcast recording. Okay. Here we go.
Maya's got strong opinions on this one too. And hello, Maya. Maya's got strong opinions on this one too. I was gonna say Maya feels very strongly about monopolies. Down with the establishment, she says. Let's go, Maya. Woo!
Outtakes from the Cyberpunk Lorecast, where I was recording with Sam and Toasty. And Maya, apparently. Okay. Also, I really need to get this shit with my camera figured out onto why, as soon as I turn it on, my internet decides it doesn't want to be stable anymore.
Is that why your camera kept going off during Mass Effect Lorecast?
No, that was because I was vaping and I didn't want to do it on camera.
Fair.
I've actually been wondering about that myself because I think I mentioned it in chat. This week, the past couple of weeks have been hell on my streams. I can't get through an entire freaking stream without like at least 3 disconnects. And up until the disconnects happen, like I keep like a hawk watching my computer screen. It keeps saying my side of things, my signal, everything is great, and then for no reason.
Yeah, like it's doing okay right now, and so I'll keep my camera on for a little bit and see how it goes, but it's just like, oof. I don't know what's wrong.
I lost followers over this crap.
That's
like over the past 2 weeks, I've lost like 3 or 4 followers, but then turned around and gained 6 more.
That's also just the nature of Twitch. People will stop in for a stream or two, and then when they come back in and see like, oh, you're not creating the same content, let me unfollow because you're not doing what I want to see you do.
I am very upfront about that on my streams. I tell people constantly, it's like, look, I know y'all got options, and I know there's a lot of people out there with much higher, what's the word I use, production value than what I'm doing. At the end of the day, I'm just a guy playing through some of his favorite stories that I want to share with people. If you like that, welcome to the team.
Yeah. And for us, it was like for the longest time, we were just 2 talking heads on the screen, you know? And it was like, ooh, there's not much production value to this at all. I've gotten a little bit better
Following you
with
guys
it.
from day one. Wasn't a patron from day one, but I was following from day one.
Oh man, those old streams are a little scary to go back and watch.
I want to figure out how Tom does his streams because he's got all this like setup animation things ready and all these sound effects just like ready. I know
I've
he's
got
like
people-
professional. That's his
It's
whole
his
job.
full-time job. That's how he does
Yeah.
it.
It seems cool though, right? I love it, but I don't know how it works, and I'm not gonna be bothered to look into it because I don't do this streams.
Did I ever
But I
tell
think
you
it's cool.
the daughter story about my streaming as far as when I got affiliate? My oldest, who she's 9 right now. This was last year, so she was 8. She was sitting in her chair, or sitting in my chair, reading a book. And they knew that Daddy streamed, but they didn't know that I was doing it like with a goal, like I was trying to get to affiliate, and they didn't know that. So I mentioned the word, and my oldest goes, "What does that mean?" And I said, "Well, it means that Daddy gets paid to stream video games." She puts her book down and looks at me with big wide eyes. She's like, "You can do that?" I went, "Well, yeah, there's actually a couple of people out there that make pretty good money doing that." And she's like, "Daddy, you should do that. You should do that to pay your bills and make money." I was like, "Sweetheart, I can't do that." "Well, why not?" "Well, because in order for me to make full-time money, or I'd have to treat Twitch like a full-time job, and I already have one of those. She goes, but Daddy, you don't like your job. Stop doing that and start doing the Twitch stuff. And so I had to have a very long conversation with my daughter about safe money versus risky money.
For real. I love kid logic though. They're like, obviously quit your dumb job and do your fun job forever.
Oh yeah, she said that with the quickness too. Like, but Daddy, you don't like your job. I was like, man, she's paying way too good of attention.
Right? You're like, you're not wrong, but
like I hate that. I've had over the past couple of months a couple of down moments. This past week has been on that list, but I think I'm doing good of I'm not showing that to my kids, and yet I'll sit down and my youngest will come give me a hug like, Daddy, are you okay? And I'm like,
kids
yeah,
are so
booger,
intuitive. Kids are so smart. They know so much more than anyone gives them credit for.
I mean, she'll just come up and put her arms around me. She's like, Daddy, you need a hug. I'm like, thank you, sweetheart. And then the whole time I'm thinking, not going to cry on my kid's shoulder. Not going to cry on my kid's shoulder.
All right, V, you have to actually be watching this stream for this. Are you watching?
Oh, I thought it ended. My screen went
we're still live.
My screen went to like the stream is starting soon, so I just closed it because I was like, oh, I guess she stopped the stream. I'm back in it.
I was
Sorry.
showing you. You were like, Tom can do all this cool stuff, and I'm like,
oh shit,
so
sorry.
Can I?
I'm here now. No, I know you can. Oh.
I can do all the things. It's just that we've never.
I mean, I don't know because I don't know. The dog in a chef hat in the kitchen. Why am I here?
I played that game
for my streams. They also have what they call like channel rewards.
Yep.
Where, you know, just by viewing, you accrue like little points that you can cash in for random stuff. There's a bunch of streamers I follow that do that kind of thing, and I really want to get in on that, but I know that would take time, and yeah.
You totally can. It's already there.
I'm sure I can. It's just a matter of knowing how.
That is a Twitch setting, so not through your OBS. You gotta do it through Twitch.
Well, good thing, because I'm not entirely sure what that means. Remember, old man yells at cloud. Remember?
When you go live, what program do you use to do that?
I stream through my. I have my Twitch screen up on my laptop, and then I just stream directly from my PlayStation.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So I can read. It'll pop up a little window on my TV. Also, I have to make sure of where I put my camera in the frame because it will show on my TV. So it will be tricky for me to read certain screens, you know, if my face is in the way. And then
go to
it'll pop
Twitch
up a little
and open your channel creator tab, and that's where you'll find a lot of the settings there on how to enable points and whatnot.
But yeah, it'll pop up a little window when somebody says something in chat, and I have a couple of followers that are long-winded. Go figure. And